Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're joining us today. My name is Rob Roder. I'm a Grand Blue Diamond Associate with Talk Fusion. I want to welcome all of you to our live Diamond Rush training. Very, very exciting training indeed, folks. The foundation for reaching Diamond in 200 days or less. And do pay close attention, guys, because this is the blueprint to make it happen here. So very, very inspired by this manual. It's helped me to get where I've got. In fact, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for these principles I'm going to be sharing with you today. So glad to be here. Glad I could share my Mercedes with you guys and take some notes here because this can be pretty life-changing information. You know, we're going to start out here just by the statement here right at the beginning of the Diamond Rush, and that is that if you're one of the ones that haven't broken through yet, we have the solution for you, and it's found in the Diamond Rush training. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk about how we can go from zero to diamond in 200 days or less. That's the goal. Diamond equals $2,500 a week. That'd be $100,000 a year, six-figure lifestyle, working from the comfort of your home. Next slide, please. Okay, what would you do with an extra $2,500 a week? Okay, it's a great question to ask people, and that's what we call the dream question. And this is the most important part of the invitation, guys, and it goes like this. If you had all the money you could ever want and all the free time to enjoy it, how would your life be different? Would you live in the same house? Would you drive the same car? Would you take some vacations? Would you pay off all your credit cards? Would you give back to a charity, community, or perhaps a church? Would you help your friends and family financially? Bottom line, folks, these questions get people thinking about their dreams, and that's what we want to do. Stir up those dreams, and you have the key to the heart. Next slide, please. The universal principle behind building a profitable relationship marketing business is not whether it works for you, but can it be duplicated by everyone? And folks, this is the beauty of Talk Fusion because we have products for the masses and we have a marketing system for the masses by following the principles in the Diamond Rush Guide. Next slide, please. So we're going to talk about the system, and bottom line is it's built on mastering and duplicating, and it's 4 simple steps. Number 1 is inviting prospects. Number 2, having prospects watch or attend a live business opportunity presentation. Number 3, follow up with 3-way calls. And number 4, getting the new associates plugged into the system. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the invitation. Number 1. Okay, so number 1 is basically inviting, and this is the critical point here, guys, where you really need to come with excitement, enthusiasm. It's the most important thing you can do is you must be excited, you must be confident, and you must believe. And when it comes from that point, everything else is easy. Sometimes it's not so much what you say, but it's how you say it. But the wording does help, and we're going to share some of that with you as well. Next slide, please. Who are we looking for? In other words, we actually have a criteria as we build our Talk Fusion business. This is not for everyone, and we understand that. But we're looking for people that actually are going to engage and build our business for us. We don't want to waste time with tire kickers or people looking for money games. This is a real legitimate business. So we're looking for people that want to have more than what they currently have, number 1. We're looking for people that want to go places, travel, looking for people that want to help others they haven't been able to help before. That's so important. Sometimes people have a stronger urge to help other people versus themselves, certainly our family and loved ones. We're looking for people that are tired of being average, that want more in their lives. And we're looking for people who still have dreams and are willing to do something about it. That's the key one for me. And also people who can get excited about earning extra money working from home. This is our criteria list, folks. And as you share this with people, ask yourself, is the person I'm talking to fit into these guidelines? Next slide, please. We have what we call a prospect or a suspect, folks. And the suspect, well, we have to get them off the line quickly so that we don't waste time. Now we're going to begin with our top 20 prospect list, guys, and this is what you would need to do. If you're brand new, welcome to the team here, folks. Fantastic decision. Now what we need to do is get you up and running here. We're going to create that, what we call top 20 prospect list, and these are the people that you know that you're closest to or that you have the most confidence approaching. Now you can find these people in your cell phone, your address book, your email contact list. Perhaps you're like me, you collect business cards. I've got a desk drawer just full of them over the years. Great place to look. And on top of that, don't prejudge anyone because everyone has their own dreams, folks. You know, ask the dream questions and let their answers determine whether they're still alive and willing to make a change in their life. And remember that in this business, and this is so critically important, it's not who you know, it's who they know. I can tell you this from my experience big time. When I first joined here, I remember telling my sponsors, Min and Julie Ho, I said, I don't know anybody. No one's going to listen to me. Well, it's because I'd been out of the industry for so many years. But the truth is that it wasn't who I knew. It was who they knew. In fact, I just started sharing this with excitement and enthusiasm, followed the system, folks, and then people started bringing me other people, and now here I am in over 130 countries because it wasn't who I knew, but it was who they knew. The key right there. Always remember that. Next slide, please. Make your initial warm market list. Should have at least 200 people on the list, guys. And if you think about it, you do know a lot of people. A lot of us say, "Oh, I don't know have any warm market lists." I'm telling you, you're not thinking the way you should be, because there are people you've probably forgot about them. And we've got some tools to help you remember so that we can definitely make access to some of the contacts you've made over the years. We have a memory jogger on page 6 in the Diamond Rush. Great stuff in there to help you kind of remember who you know over the years. Prospecting tracking list, guys. This is great as you write information down about the prospect. That's on page 7. I've seen some of our associates, they've actually taken these forms and actually made a stack. They took them to a printer, made a stack of them so that they can just have a number of them as they take notes on their prospects. And adding new people to the list as you meet them, this is extremely important. We'll talk a little bit more about this later, but you should be adding, this is critically important what our founder shares with us. You should be adding 15 to 20 people to the list per week. If you're doing that, you're never going to run out of people, especially when you feel that you don't have anybody left. Well, what about the world out there? You see, people out there are hungry. They're looking for what we have. There's never been a better time to share an opportunity like Talk Fusion. So as we go out into the world, be excited, be friendly, be warm, and this is pushing out of the comfort zone for a lot of you. I know it's not easy sometimes to meet new people, but this is what we need to do in our business. This is what we get paid for, guys. This is where the big bucks come. Go out, get social, wear your Talk Fusion shirt with a brand on it, and just start making friends, guys. At least 15 to 20 people per week to that warm market list, and amazing things can happen. Next slide, please. And quite frankly, if you're not doing that, you're really not putting the time in you should be if you're serious about wanting to make the big bucks here. Invitation. 90% of an effective invite is definitely excitement, no doubt about it. I mentioned that before. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. People pick up on the energy, just like they pick up on negativity. And negativity is contagious, right? We watched the news today. You ever notice that? I turned on the news on the other day. I was on my treadmill in my home office. I was watching the news, on the TV. And all of a sudden, all this crime and all these people, dying and all the war and everything. And it's like, it brings you down, right? It's like aberrative and it's contagious. Well, the same thing with excitement. When you're excited about something, it has the same effect. So you choose whether you want to be excited or depressed, folks. Bottom line is, coming across with that energy makes a major difference, and people really need to feel that energy now more than ever. Now, invite the people on your top 20 list right away within 72 hours of joining. You don't want to sit there and wait, 2-3 days and getting in. I see people getting in the organization mode. They're sitting there fixing their desk and their office up. What they're doing is they're postponing because they just don't want to pick up the phone and make the contacts. Okay, again, pushing out of the comfort zone, guys, is critically important, and you want to get that in the first 3 days. Get that top 20 list out and start working them. Page 8 has some great invitation questions, examples on it in the guide as well. Next slide, please. The invite must be benefit-driven, opportunity-focused. And what we mean by this is we want to talk about the actual opportunity and the benefits, right? We don't want to get into the technical aspects of the products. Products do that already. They sell themselves by default. So when inviting associates to look at the opportunity, close them on the opportunity, folks. You should be talking about the timing of the opportunity. Okay, so critically important. Right now, Cisco, world's leading internet conglomerate, multi-billion-dollar corporation, is telling us in less than 2 years, over 90% of all internet will be video communications. This critical timing is so important, and this is why we explain that right now is the time to get involved. Because we'll never have a window like this again, guys. You understand, we have a window of opportunity in the next 2 to 3 years that is amazing. I mean, even greater than the California gold rush. Fortunes are being created here by those that are willing to make the sacrifices and follow the diamond rush. And I'll tell you, it's happening. Next slide, please. But we always want to push the timing of the opportunity. Develop what we call a power attitude with people as you share this. It's very important that you develop what we call rhinoceros skin. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, rhinoceros have pretty tough skin, right? You can't take it personally, guys, and we call this some will, some won't, so what, next. The 3 SWs, right? Some will, some won't, so what, next. And what we mean by that is we share the opportunity, We put the questions out. If they don't fit the criteria, thank them for their time, move on. And we will also set them up for later down the road, which we're going to be covering. But right now we get on to the next prospect if they don't meet our criteria at that time. Next slide, please. Don't be emotionally attached to the result. Important things to remember, some invitation tips. Become a professional inviter. The more you practice this, the better you become. Don't worry in the beginning if you're not quite where you need to be. You got to start somewhere, and that's okay. Do not try to explain this into opportunity. Let the sponsor assist you in that area. And most importantly, keep it simple. Your team will do what you do. Don't try to be a maverick here, guys. It doesn't work. Top earners are on the least the first 20 prospect calls with a new associate to help them go bronze. And what we mean by that is that the top associates here are taking that associate by the hand. They're getting on the line with them with that first 20 prospect list, and they're listening to what they're saying. They're guiding them. In some cases, they're even actually speaking to the prospect for them. And this is very important to help your associates go bronze. Next slide, please. Step 2 is watching or attending a business presentation. You know, it could be a live presentation in a room, what we call offline, or they could be coming on to watch one of the online presentations, but we want to make sure that they get onto the webinar. And what I do is, once I've decided they're a prospect, I set an appointment with them, okay? I actually choose the time that they're going to go watch, and I always choose the next available time, which is the best time. And I schedule the appointment for them. I actually call my upline sponsor, I let them know that I have a prospect who's scheduled for that time. And so I give them an update, and I say, I'm going to be calling you also 10 minutes before the presentation. I let the prospect know that I'll be calling them about 10 minutes before the webinar presentation. This is if it's online, just to make sure that you have a successful online connection. Once I've done that, I then call my sponsor, let them know I've contacted the prospect, that the prospect is on the webinar, because you're going to find out one or two things. When you call them just prior to the webinar, first of all, you're going to find out whether you have a prospect on the webinar. And that's very important, because the last thing you want to be doing is sitting there twiddling your thumbs, wondering where where your prospect is. Are they on the webinar? Are they not? I've seen guys in the chat room say, can you print the attendee list so we can see if our prospect's in there? Wrong way to go, guys, because you're not controlling your business. You need to drive your business, right? You need to control it, or it will drive you out of business. So appointments and setting appointments is critically important. If you're a professional, professionals set appointments. And then taking responsibility for the appointment. You know, you go to the doctor's office, they give you a business card. A lot of times they call you, the secretary calls you the day before to remind you about the appointment. Same type of thing here. And this is what we call professional appointment setting. So 10 minutes before the appointment, you call them, you make sure that they're getting onto the webinar, that you actually walk them through the process, make sure they arrive, and then once that's done, well, you've accomplished two things. You know they're on the presentation, and now you call your upline sponsor to let them know you have a prospect who's engaging in the webinar, and you'll be contacting your sponsor right after the webinar for the three-way call, which is the next step. When you call the sponsor, you're also going to inform the sponsor, give them some information about the prospect, a little bit of background, so that your sponsor is prepared for that individual. Next slide, please. Take advantage of the momentum created, guys. The best presentation for your prospect to watch or attend is the next available presentation. This is what I was talking about earlier. Example, right now it's 12:14 Eastern Standard Time for me. I'm in the East Coast region. And so our next webinar is 1 o'clock. So if I'm on the line with someone and I'm scheduling for webinars, I'm going to put them on the 1 o'clock. And if they can't make the 1, I'll put them on the 4, or I'll put them on the 7. Always the next one. First come, first serve. We want to create, a sense of urgency as we share this with people. And one of the things I tell them is, I'm so excited about this. I'm sharing this with everyone I know. I'm scheduling a lot of people on the webinars, and there's a distinct advantage if you like what you see. All the other people I'm sharing this with could be in your organization helping you make money. So always create that sense of urgency, folks. Next slide, please. Presentations are designed to help both you and your prospects. The prospect learns about the products, the business opportunity from experienced leaders. And they're also seeing that you don't have to be out there explaining it to them. And they like that because they realize that they don't have to be in that position as well. So you're really getting to leverage your time by getting unlimited numbers of prospects to see the group presentations at almost any time. Now, the company has grown into over 24 webinars. Isn't that amazing? Every day, over 24 webinars happening around the world, which means as you start to share this with people, and some of your people start to share it with people and so forth, now you can pick up associates and potential associates from all around the world, and these webinars are happening, so you can truly leverage yourself on a global basis. That's exciting. A tip here from our founder, he says, if you're new, Do not do your own presentations. Direct your prospects to the existing one, folks. A lot of time and effort went into these presentations, and they are done in an extremely professional manner, and they're also done based on getting results, and that's what we're here for, so utilize us. Next slide, please. Step 3 is follow up with a 3-way phone call. A very, very important step indeed. This is probably one of the easiest places to fall off the system because, you know, it's more work and time involved, and sometimes people feel, you know, they came off the webinar, they're excited, they're ready to move forward. I really don't need to do the 3-way call. Well, you can do that, and you can make the sale and make a little bit of money. But what you're doing by not connecting with that step 3 and introducing them to someone having success in your upline is you're really taking away the ability to duplicate your business long term. Because there's a number of reasons we do this, but the most obvious is that you're showing your prospect or your team associate that they're not alone. It's not just you and them. You're also showing them that you've got someone that they can connect with that is having great success here. How valuable do you think that is? I know as a business owner, if I can work with somebody who's having great success, I mean, that means everything to me. So what you're doing is by introducing them to that upline support and seeing that letting that person share their story and letting that sponsor, let them that prospect of yours know that they're there for them to help them. And they can call them for 3-way calls for assistance. That is so critically important because now you're showing them that there's successful people here that they can work with. It's not just you. And in many cases, you know, a lot of the associates who are just starting out here are new. They're not having that success yet to really show their prospect the success. They can't show it. So, you know, and that question that comes up, well, how are you doing? You know, you get that a lot. They say, well, how are you doing with this? And then you say, well, I'm doing okay, but, you know, that's like the worst thing you can say to them, right? Because they've heard that before, and then your confidence kind of goes downhill. But when they ask you that question, well, if your mindset's correct and you're following the Diamond Rush and you're on track, a great answer is, well, I'm doing fantastic. I'm on track for a 6-figure lifestyle here in the next 12 months. And that is your potential, folks, no doubt. If you follow the Diamond Rush steps and get excited about this and utilize everything you're seeing and reading in the Diamond Rush, you can get there very quickly. But the bottom line is you have someone in your team that's that's done it already. So make sure you connect them with that person because now they're seeing success. They're realizing they're not alone. They're in business for themselves but not by themselves. There's a team here. And I'll tell you what, team means everything. Everyone achieves more. And that's what we want to share with that new associate. So do not leave out step 3, guys. If you do, you're leaving out one of the most critical steps, and you won't duplicate long term. You might make a little money in the short term, but not long term. Got to do that so they see how it's done. Next slide, please. Follow up immediately. This is always after the webinar. You know, you let your prospect know that when the webinar is over, you'll be contacting them right afterwards to answer any questions they may have. Now, I'm going to contact my upline partner first. It's very important, guys. Listen to what our founder's telling us. Make sure your upline partner is on the phone with you when you contact the prospect. Okay? Right, so you contact the upline prospect. If you did it properly, you called the upline partner just before the webinar and let him know that the prospect confirmed he's going to be on the presentation. So now your upline partner is ready. He's prepared for that call. Webinar is over. You should be on it yourself so you know when it ends. Plus, you want to get the spirit of what's going on over there. So when you bring the prospect on the line, you've got the energy that just came off the webinar. You go get your upline partner, and then you both contact them together. Edify the experienced leader as an expert. As you talk to your prospect, you want to say positive things about your upline, share a little bit of their success, build them up, and then let the upline share their story. They're going to take over the call. Okay, you can go in the kitchen and make a sandwich, as Min Ho used to say. So let that upline share how Talk Fusion changed their life, guys. This is so important that they make that connection. And be listening. Learn, okay? Soon you'll be doing the 3-way calls yourself. Next slide, please. We talk about the hot buttons, and as you go through the process, I kind of call it an interview. When I ask those questions, and I call it like a survey, right? One of the things I tell people, I like to break the ice with people when I pick up the phone. I talk to them a little bit in my warm market, and I ask them how they're doing, and how's life, and how's the family, what's going on with you, just ask, just talk to them a little bit, and then I just get, after I feel like I've reached that level of common reality, and there's a comfort level, break the ice, warm them up, so to speak, I'm then going to ask the dream question, which is if you had all the money in the world and all the free time to enjoy it, how would your life be different? And then I'm going to go through those sub-questions. Would you live in the same house? Would you pay off your credit cards? Would you give back to your family? Would you take more vacations? See, those sub-questions are identifying the hot buttons. And I'm writing down notes. Okay, remember we got that prospect tracking sheet in the actual guide, guys, to use. So we keep notes on what they tell us because this information is very valuable. This is the heart of the individual, and this is how you can move people emotionally. So you get these different buttons, and listen closely to what they tell you as you're asking the questions. Would you help your family and friends financially? And all of a sudden they say, yeah, I've got a mother that I really need to take care of. Wow, that's a huge hot button. Or I have a daughter that really needs to get to college and I want to put her through school so she's educated. Those different things that you hear, write those down because that is the emotion. The hot buttons will move mountains, guys. So make sure you capture them. And again, use the prospecting log sheet so that you can track all that information. And you can go back and use this information later if for some reason they have the motivation is not what it should be. You can move them by referring them back to their dreams and goals, and then quite honestly just asking them, you mentioned this to me when I first shared this with you, how serious is it that you help your grandmother? So you go back into those areas, guys, and it can truly be powerful, and you can raise people from the dead with this emotional hot buttons. Next slide, please. Timing and urgency. Stress the timing of the opportunity. There's some example scripts found on page 14. Again, this is greater than the California gold rush, guys, but this opportunity is not going to be around forever. Let's face it. Video communications, just like TV at one time, just like radio when they first came out. Remember, it was just everybody was like, wow, it was just amazing. But then over time, people adjust to it, and of course, what we're going to see is that more and more people will be using video communication tools over the next few years. It's going to be just as common as anything. But right now, there's this window for people to become profit sharers in what I believe will be the next billion-dollar brand, and this 2 to 3 window before, quite frankly, the market is going to at some point it's going to saturate, and I see our window right now 2-3 years for a lot of us to really create a huge difference. So remember to stress that, and always engage your upline partner to answer questions with you. This is key. And again, take notes, learn from your upline partner as we go through the call. Next slide, please. Opportunity is all about timing. Some of the responses we're going to get out there, we've heard them all. The one we like the most is, I'm ready. I want to change my life. Where do I sign? We love that one, don't we? It's like music to our ears. Then we get other different types of responses, like, yeah, well, not right now, maybe later. I'm interested, but I still have some questions. We get yes to the product sometimes, no to the opportunity, and sometimes we hear the no, never. And this is the one that we need to be most keenly aware of, because the no never, really what that means in all actuality for most people is that it's not the right time right now. Okay, but that can change, and it can change in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months. I've had people that said no to me once, twice, even 3 times, and the 4th time I went back, they signed up. So don't give up, folks. It's good to continue to build relationships with those people that say never. A great example is, you guys know who Mark Genovese is, right? He's a grand blue diamond. And you guys know who Rodney Appleton is, right? Now, Rodney, he brought Mark into the business, okay? But, he had to go, I think it was 3 or 4 times. Mark said no. And then finally, Mark said, let me get him on the line with my sponsor, right? He did the 3-way call, and he put him on the line with his upline sponsor, who was having great success, and that was what made the difference, guys. So you never know when the circumstances might change their lives. And one of the things I'll tell when they tell me no, I'll say, okay, no problem. I'm not anxious. I'm not desperate, because if you come on too strong, they're really going to back away. But what I'll say is a good way to handle that is that, okay, no problem. I appreciate you taking the time. It's not for everybody right now, but I'll tell you what I'd like to do. Would it be okay if I got back with you, say, in 3 months or 6 months or so to share, my success with you? Would that be okay? And you'll find that most people that know you will be fine with that. So it gives you that open door to go back later to share with them how well you've done. And it's amazing what can take place, because circumstances can change for them, and your circumstances can certainly change. And now when you come back and they say, you're still with that company, are you? And yeah, look what I've done. Whoa, you did that? You see, so never give up, folks, because it's just a matter of time. We may not get them right away, but we can come back to that warm market later and get them in the boat with us down the road. So never give up. Always ask for referrals and follow-up when you're on the line and they tell you no, not right now. Set the stage for the future, like I mentioned to you. And another thing you want to ask them just before you get off the phone is, by the way, John, one last question. Do you know anybody that might want to make some extra money from home working on their computer? Could you think of, just 1 or 2 people? How about just 1 or 2 names? Ask for the referrals, folks. If you don't ask, you don't get. And some of the most successful said no at first, guys, but I'll tell you what, some of the biggest fish we have in here, including myself, okay, I was dripped on for multiple months before I said yes to this opportunity. Okay, Min and Julia were sending me those video emails, and it was effective. Next slide, please. Ensure proper duplication by doing it right every time. Do not do everything yourself. I mean, lead by example. People are going to do what you do. You've got a system here in place that really does most of the work. Just follow the 4 steps. But most importantly is that, you know, your associates are going to look at you as a role model, and they're going to do what you do in most cases. And people always join in many cases because they believe you. I can tell you this was the case with me and my sponsors. The magic formula which Bob put together, we call BLT, believe you, like you, trust you. And of course, if they believe you, like you, and trust you, they will join. And maybe not the first time, but how about the second, third, or fourth? Don't give up. Okay, eventually they're going to come in. And that formula is so true. You know, if I hadn't had respect for my sponsors and liked them and trusted them, I would never come in here. So I can tell you from personally speaking, that magic formula is true. Next slide, please. Step 4, plug it into the system. Wow, what is the system? People ask. Well, it's obviously the 4 steps, right? You know, making sure that your associates understand the 4 steps, get them on the Diamond Rush training immediately, get them to print out that warm market list, the top 20, the 200, get on the phone with them, those first 20 names within 72 hours. This is all the system, getting them plugged into it, getting them on webinars, whether they have a prospect to watch the webinar or not. They still need to be plugged in. They go to the webinars to get recharged, right? Life's coming out all over them out there. They got bills to pay. They got problems. You know, let's face it, it's not pretty out there in most cases for most people. A lot of pressure, a lot of financial stress. So what we're doing here is by getting them plugged into the system and getting them involved in this and getting them into action, we get them to get their first 2 in 72 hours. They're now having wins. They're on the webinars. They're seeing the energy. They're seeing the team. They're getting excited, and it's helping them to put what we call the sea legs in. So the system would be all those things I mentioned. It's also getting on these Diamond Rush trainings. Make sure they're plugged into, you know, both of them every week. Number of times over equals certainty. The more they see this, hear it, the more it starts to sink in. They start to apply the knowledge that's here. Also, getting them on the red carpet broadcasts. Critically important that they attend the live broadcast. The most important live calls of the month, guys, were our founder, Bob Reyna, and a VP of Training and Development here, Allison, get together and they share from the corporate office the amazing updates, the amazing advancements, recognitions, just bringing the whole company together, the energy that's in that from that broadcast, guys, from corporate. Very, very exciting. People really start to relate with what's going on from the corporate side, how stable this company is, and the amazing things that they do for all of us. So that's really important that you plug them into that. And the events, okay? We can't forget the events, the corporate events, right? Now, we've got one coming up here in Prague, as you guys have known. We've been promoting that quite a bit lately, and the reason we're promoting it as much as we are is because we know the effects of the events. This is where life changes come. This is where people get the mindset, the confidence. Talk Fusion goes from the head to the heart, because what they experience at these events completely gives them the confidence that makes them what we call bulletproof, unstoppable. And this is the key, confidence. So the system is all these things I mentioned to you. Those of you that can join us at the Now event in Prague, you need to do everything you can to come and join us. This event's going to be historical, guys. I'm telling you. We've never seen anything quite like this. 3,000 people from Europe. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the Russia videos that are going on out there, what Russia is doing over there with the youth, excited about Talk Fusion, putting the Talk Fusion logos on their cars, and you know, they're partying in the streets over there, guys. It's like a frenzy happening in Russia, and it's setting the stage for what's taking place as Talk Fusion fever spreads around the world. So we want to plug our people into these, make sure that they're getting access to all this information so that they're getting recharged and ready to get the job done, guys, because having that confidence means everything. Next slide, please. Get plugged in. Okay, get new associates plugged into the support system immediately. And what we're talking about is a system which saves yourself stress, time, energy, and money. And the prospects are never more excited than the moment that they've joined. It's that magic moment, right? That's when the excitement's the highest. So you want to capitalize that energy, right? Anybody can enroll here, right? But success is optional. Okay, who's going to go to work? Who's going to push out of the comfort zone? Who's going to do those basic things, right? Well, they're out there. There's plenty of people out there. But plugging them into the system is an absolute must if we're going to help jumpstart those leaders. Your goal is to help your personally sponsored associates go bronze within 72 hours of joining. Next slide. So why is all this important? Well, per our founder, The primary reason the system is so important is that it helps ensure walk-away residual income. You no longer remain essential to the process. Even if you retire, the system and your income will keep going. Guys, that is the name of the game right there. You see, the promise of relationship marketing is that, you work hard and you can enjoy your golden years. When it's ready to retire, when it's ready to, enjoy those senior years, you don't have to worry about money. You can be there for your family and live your life in dignity. How important is that to you, to know that you can secure your loved one's future? And this is why a system is so important. And the system we've shared here with you today, found in the Diamond Rush, it makes it so that you no longer remain essential. Okay, you don't need to even be there anymore because the system and your income will keep working. And that is a beautiful thing, my friends. Next slide, please. Number one priority, make sure that your organization knows and teaches the basics that we're sharing here. Just a few simple principles you need to master. The only true measure of an organization's strength is the number of leaders in it who are properly following and teaching this system. Next slide, please. Benefits of joining the 72-hour club. Well, we talked a little bit about this before, but if your associates earn a commission in that first couple days, that first week, I'll tell you what, they're excited, right? They've got this win, and now they transform from being motivated to becoming motivators, and that's what you want. You want a team of army of motivators out there just sharing this with everyone with that excitement, and you will achieve instant momentum by helping them get their first 2 sales in the first 3 days. The business is about helping people to get started and teach others to do the same. Get them to become a bronze maker. You see, we get them their first 2, and then we're going to help those 2 get their 2, and now they are a bronze maker. Next slide, please. Now, your warm market. Let's talk about this because this is very important. Top earners always work within their warm market, and they teach others to do the same. Before I came to TalkFusion, I've been in other networking companies, and there was one I was in particular that I learned this lesson about warm market and the power of it. In fact, that's all we did was promote warm market. People made fortunes in that company. It was years ago. But people always get into the thing where I don't know anybody. I'm in the NFL club, no friends left, right? Well, this is where Bob talks about going out and meeting new people, right? Every week, you should be adding 10 to 15 people to your warm market list. And if you're out there pushing out of the comfort zone, guys, meeting people, being friendly, having your TalkFusion shirts on, your hats, whatever, advertising the brand, you're going to meet people and you're going to get names. And this is what relationship marketing is, folks. Now, friends do what friends do. This business is built on trust. Strangers do not trust you. Okay, so you meet people for the first time, get a relationship with them, start to talk to them a little bit, and just kind of build that trust, folks, and then get their email address and start to move forward with getting them on a webinar. But relationship marketing is based on warm market, guys. It's the key for your success. And even though some of you say you don't know anyone, I got news for you. Use the memory jogger in the Diamond Rush Guide. You'd be surprised how many people you forgot about, folks, and continuously be out meeting new people. Warm market's the way to go. Next slide, please. And the key to the warm market, too, is that once you start to share this with other people, you work with their warm market so that their warm market now becomes your warm market. And then those people's warm market becomes your warm. You see, you don't want to just stop with your warm market. You work with their warm market, and then the people they bring you, you work with their warm market. And if you do this properly, you'll never run out of a warm market source. And that's the beauty of relationship marketing. Teamwork, the success of your business depends on teamwork. We've got the team here in place, guys. Together, everyone achieves more. Ask yourself this question every day. In fact, I have it up on my wall here on an index card. Am I working with my personally sponsored associates daily? Second question, am I working with their personally sponsored associates daily? Those are the 2 questions. If you ask yourself that as a reminder, it will help you to stay in check with your team. Next slide, please. Build a model, then duplicate the model. Model for duplication, guys. Here it is. There's you. You got your first 2. Left team, right team. Help them do the same. They go bronze. You become a bronze maker. That is the model right there. Okay, that's the simplicity of what we do. Right there, you duplicate that down to your first 2, down to their first 2, and this goes down throughout the entire organization. To build a successful network, you need to follow up step-by-step system. Teach and duplicate the one simple principle, folks. These 2 actions, repeated correctly over and over, form the fundamental structure of a strong business. Next slide, please. 2020 vision. Can you see yourself reaching diamond? Well, it all begins with the perception, right? So inside yourself, put it there. You know, it's achievable. Are you kidding me? We've got diamonds just about every day coming out of this company. So, you know, every day we hear about a new diamond. Some days we hear about multiple diamonds being born. So people are doing this. And what we're talking about here is get the belief there, put it in your mind's eye first, and then duplicate. Here's the formula. Duplicate bronze and bronze maker, right? Getting your first two, helping them get their first two. Duplicate that 20 times on your left leg and your right leg. And you will have built the foundation to go diamond and beyond and drive a luxurious Mercedes-Benz. Here's how. Okay, this is really the nuts and bolts of what you need to focus on right here. Get at least one qualified prospect to watch or attend an opportunity presentation every day. That's your goal right there, staring at you, smack at you. Okay? That's what you need to do. One qualified prospect to watch or attend an opportunity presentation every day. That's not hard, guys. It is not hard. You can do it. If you get excited enough about this and push out of your comfort zone, folks, and get out there with the right attitude, you can do that. And if you do that just yourself, you will achieve the rank of diamond in just 200 days. You don't even need anybody else. Just by you doing that action, doesn't matter if anybody else doesn't duplicate, which, of course, the law of averages says they're going to. And just imagine once you're doing that and you get your team doing that, how quickly your business can grow and how fast you can move up the ranks. Now, with a sponsoring ratio of 1 out of 5, so you're sharing this with people, 1 out of 5 prospects, you can expect 6 personally sponsored associates every 30 days. So every 5 prospects you share this with, 1 should come in. This is the law of averages, okay? This would be, in a month, would be 60 personally sponsored associates over 30 days. We'll break it down to 3 in your left leg and 3 in your right leg. And then, of course, over time, that equals 200 prospects, which would be 40 personally sponsored, or 20 on the left, 20 on the right. Next slide, please. Let's get into the chart here that breaks this down. This chart's very good because it puts it in terms of, in writing of what happens and how this can come together quickly. Shows the months here, 1 through 7. You're looking at one presentation a day that you just have one person. Guys, some of you can do 2 or 3 of these a day, but for right now, let's just get one on there. Your first 30 days would be 30 presentations. We just went over that, which would equal 2,500 your first year. Let's go down to the 3rd month. So after we've been putting one prospect on the presentations daily, in month 3, that would be a total of 90 presentations. That would equal to, based on the law of averages, okay, would be based on 9 left, 9 right, okay, and then that would put you at gold, which would be 10,000 annual income. These are examples that can happen here by following these steps. Step 5 would be, month 5, you would have 150 presentations watched. That would equate to 15 on your left, 15 on your right. You're now a 2-star. Not too shabby at 40,000 a year as a 2-star, and then of course moving down into month 7, which would be your 200 presentations watched based on one presentation a day, building up over a 7-month period. Now, based on the law of averages, guys, and it's an average. What we're finding with 1 out of 5 prospects, that would equate to 20 left, 20 right. You're now a diamond, and that's a 6-figure lifestyle from home. Now, the beautiful thing about what goes on here is it's up to you to decide the time period in which you invite these 200 people. You could put out 1 on a day, you could do 1 on a week. It just depends on your ability to push out of the comfort zone. Get out there, folks, with the right energy and excitement level. It's confidence and it's conviction, and that's what makes it happen. This is one of the reasons why we push so hard for you guys to come to the corporate events, because this is when the magic truly takes place, and we've seen this time after time after time. Just recently, I want to acknowledge our recent Grand Blue Diamond, Ron, right out of Texas. One of the things Ron shares is how he went to the Vision event as a silver, and the change that took place in his thinking after he went to that event. He used to call it, he had a teddy bear mentality, and when he came out of that Vision event, he had the grizzly bear mentality. He says, I attack my warm market. Right on, Ron. And now he's a Grand Blue Diamond because of that shift that took place by going to his first Vision event. So we push those events so greatly, guys, because we know it's one of the greatest things you can do for your business to have that correct mindset. But how long you want to wait is up to you. I mean, you can take as long as you want here. The only thing I love about this company is you can make as much money as you're willing to work for. And how hard are you willing to work? This is a workers program. It's not a money game. It's not a Ponzi scheme like some of the stuff that's out there. This company's going to be around for a while. It's worth working for. And you can create your dreams here. You can live your dreams by doing the right things. And this right here, this 2020 vision lays it out. So thank you for that, Bob. Next slide. Why 20? Well, the reality is people get in and they quit. That's just the way it is out there. Not everybody's, got the substance to go the distance. We have what we call pretenders, and we have what we call contenders. Contenders are willing to do what it takes. They're willing to make the sacrifices. So, out of 20 associates you personally sponsor, at least 3 to 5 should fully engage. Again, this is based on the law of averages. So you're looking at somewhere between 3 and 5 associates that engage. Now, what do we mean by engaged? Well, we mean that are out there doing the right things. They're following the diamond rush. They're making the sacrifices. They're putting the vacations off. They're putting the TV off. They're working this thing. The guys that got to the top of the mountain, Min and Julie Ho, myself, Leslie Brown, Jaspro, all the guys that we've seen move up the ranks. There's so many, I don't want to miss out anybody, but you guys know who they are. Desiree and Ron and Sean just recently, and oh my God, the Russian contingency, huge things happening there. But guys, the ones that move up to the top of the mountain are making the sacrifices. Okay, but the bottom line is they're running people through the system. So out of every 20 associates, at least 3 to 5 should engage. So keep putting new associates. Where we're going with this is you got to continue to put the logs on the fire, guys. Continue to put the new associates through the system immediately, following the 4 steps. This industry, especially Talk Fusion, rewards loyalty like I've never seen before. And time will separate the contenders from the pretenders, folks. You're going to be able to see your leaders by their actions and, quite frankly, by their checks. The size of their checks indicate their commitment level. Within the next 2 to 5 years, here we go. All right. This is a commitment. You got to look at this thing as a 2 to 5 year game plan. Within the next 2 to 5 years, can you find 40 people who are serious about changing their lives? I'm sure you can. If you stay committed and focused, folks, and follow these principles in the Diamond Rush, you can do that. You can do that. The only way you're going to fail is if you quit. So don't look at this as just some little thing that you just invest a little money in and you're going to see what happens or try it. Treat this as if you invested $500,000 or if you invested $1 million in it, because that's your potential return here. You're going to get what you put into it. Folks, if you put $1 million into a business, would you quit in 3 months? Heck no. So the only way to fail is to quit. Stay focused and stay plugged into the system. Next slide, please. It will happen. Diamond Rush worksheet. Great forms there that the founders put in that Diamond Rush guide. Helps you track your progress, showing your personally sponsored associates, 20 left, 20 right. Definitely utilize that sheet. That's like a roadmap for you. Next slide, please. Building depth. Finding and empowering hidden leadership. This is one of the keys as you build your team, as your team starts to grow. To succeed, you must identify and closely work with the leadership regardless of what level they're on. The ones that are doing the right things, you'll see it in their numbers, and you have a back office. You can go in and take a look at the rankings and see who's moving up the ranks there. These are the leaders you want to focus with, the ones that are contenders versus pretenders. They're identified by their actions. They're plugging into the 4 steps, and they're teaching the group to do the same thing. As you build in depth, you'll be able to identify today's leaders and potential leaders of tomorrow. The key to attracting new leaders is for you to be one. Next slide. Magic moment. It all starts with the basics. Learn the Talk Fusion skill sets and stick with the basics, guys. The prospects will catch the vision when they join the business. Isn't that a beautiful feeling? When that associate really understands how he or she can make their dreams come true with Talk Fusion. That's the magic moment, guys, and we want to capitalize on that moment and get that momentum going by getting them their first 72, their first 2 in 72 hours. Let's get them bronze, and let's get them the bronze maker. Next slide, please. So, our founder has a question. Are you ready to make the cut? Well, if you're serious about building your Talk Fusion business, he recommends the following. Pursue every opportunity to better yourself and your business. Talk, listen, and learn. Plug into our Talk Fusion business opportunity, the presentation. Invite your prospects and team members. Even if you don't have a prospect to put on the presentation, you need to be on at least 2 of those a day, minimum, okay? This is your business. Invest in it. Remember, you need to be recharged daily. Make certain you're on all the Diamond Rush training webinars, guys. Critically important that you hear this over a number of times. make sure you watch the founder. The best place to get Diamond Rush is from the founder. We've got the videos of him training at our Last Now event. Amazing training indeed. Make sure you watch all those a number of times over, and be sure to participate. I mentioned this before on the executive broadcasts every month with our founder and CEO Bob Reyna and Allison Roberts. Be active, guys. Attend the corporate events. Now this is, without a doubt, in my opinion, and I think our founder would agree with me here and all the key leaders, that the events are the most important investment you'll ever make in your TalkFusion future, guys. We got this Now event coming up in Prague, going to be a life-changing historical event, so definitely join us for that if you can, and make sure we get to your people there as well, because this is where major expansion is going to take place. This company's about ready to go into warp speed after that event. Guys, monthly red carpet office tours. We've got one coming up here next Friday at the corporate office, so any of you that can join us there, it's going to be a phenomenal event. I know some amazing announcements are coming. This company has gone through so many changes. They've just updone the entire website. The speed of the website so fast. The look of it's just beautiful. We've got the new websites now in the different languages. Company's constantly improving, upgrading, and it's about to get better, guys. We've got some very exciting releases coming very, very shortly. So make sure you're in tune with these broadcasts, because this is where you get the heart and soul of the company from our founder. Next slide, please. I'm looking forward to seeing many of you at the red carpet tour. I'll be there myself in person with some of the other great leaders. The branding and support materials, guys, we can't stress this enough. You need to be a product of the product. When I'm out in public, I always got my TalkFusion shirt on with my logo on it. Of course, I've got my Mercedes with the TalkFusion logo on the side. What a great lead machine that is. But until you get to that point, guys, utilize these different brands that we have, because when you're out in public and you're wearing the TalkFusion shirts, hats, whatever gear you can get, it attracts attention. A lot of times people will come up to you. What is TalkFusion? Wow. Man, now you got somebody reaching to you. What a great lead that can be. Also, the opportunity journals from the Fusion Buzz. These are phenomenal tools. Make sure you have these, guys. These are great tools. You can be out in public. Carry those with you. Put them in a little notebook when you go wherever you go, and have those available. What amazing promotional job those Buzz journals do, guys. There's a CD in there called The Answer. Then put your contact information on the back. One of the best promo tools I've ever seen in the business field. The gear site's there for you. You can get your business cards there. You want to make sure you have plenty of business cards. Key that you have those with you when you're out in public. And certainly also refer to the business opportunity presentation schedule, which is available in the back office. Next slide, please. So we're going to finalize the training here by Bob's famous words here, and that's at the end of the manual, guys. I believe it's page 30 or 31. It says here, if it's not in these pages, right, anything that you're thinking about doing, always look in the Diamond Rush, and there you'll find your answers. If it's not in the Diamond Rush pages, do not do it. It will not work, or it cannot be duplicated. The number one rule of business is that it does not matter what works for you. What matters is what can be duplicated by everyone. So you might be able to do something and create some sales on it, but you know what? The chances of that being duplicated by people on your team is very, very minute. In fact, that's the salesman mentality. Some of you are great salespeople. I had a tremendous sales background. But one of the things I learned years ago when I made the transformation from direct sales into relationship marketing is I had to forget selling. I sell myself. I'm sold. That's the only selling I do here. I'm sold, okay? 300% conviction, unstoppable conviction. But I don't sell the products. I don't sell the opportunity. I let the system do it for me. And so you may be able to close some sales because you've got great sales skills, but most of the people out there don't. You have to realize just how huge this opportunity is. We've got products for the entire planet, guys. This is a mass product. Okay, the masses need and want these products. And our marketing system is for the masses. So by teaching them this system, we can have many, many people. We can have masses of people doing this because they just simply send people to the webinars. It's just like a good movie. They get excited. They share that enthusiasm, bring people to the webinars, and then use their support team to do all the selling and explaining for them. And that's what you need to teach the people, the 4 steps. So even though you can close a few sales, can other people do what you do? Other people can follow the 4 steps. So make sure you're following them. And if it's not in the pages of the Diamond Rush, guys, don't do it. Okay, remember, what matters is what can be duplicated by everyone. When our founder puts that in there, guys, he put that in there for a reason, because it's so easy to recreate the wheel, and a lot of mavericks out there in the world, folks. I learned years ago, don't argue with success. Learn what success is doing and duplicate it, folks. And that's what we have here with the Diamond Rush. Have fun. You're on the way to making your dreams come true.